We'll do more. I just wanted to hop in
Okay.
and try to see if we can get to the nitty gritty. What was the last thing that we talked? What was the comment that I responded to? I can't remember.
Oh, where I said God is a projection of your psyche, not a reflection of your psyche. On because you posted
Yeah.
somebody posted or commented that your beliefs are
Okay.
stupid or something, that God isn't real or something.
So
You said that
what is an example of a reflection of your psyche? Because I don't know how to analyze that statement itself.
I didn't say that. You said that his view on God or belief in God was a reflection of his psyche, or was a reflection of who he was, or she, whoever commented, because they were saying that God doesn't love you, or God hates us, or something like that.
Oh, so you believe that those are
let me.
You believe that those are mutually exclusive, like a projection of your psyche is not also a reflection of your psyche?
Well, I mean that God is a projection of our psyche, not our view of God as a reflection of our psyche.
Why can't they both be true?
They could. Yeah, they could absolutely both be true. But in response to what you were saying on that video, if God is real, he is either a POS or he doesn't give enough about you. More like Sky Daddy isn't a thing. You're from the mud, bro. What does that even mean? You're from the mud. I don't get that.
What I guess he's trying to. It's a way of denigrating human species. I guess.
Aren't we all from the mud?
Yeah, we are. I know. It's funny because we are all from the mud, and that's what I guess is supposed to be. It's like it's bad that we're from the mud or something like that.
I just think that spirituality and religion is fear manifest, like an ability to connect the dots. So therefore, they're placeholders for the dot. And so
fear, you said?
Fear, yeah, fear of the unknown.
You don't think it's part of admiration as well?
Right, but if it's admiration of what?
Of like the ultimate man. Like if we were to imagine the best type of man, that would be like the leader of our religion.
A human leader. Well, are you applying human traits to a deity?
Yeah.
So God was created in our image, not the other way around.
I don't. That's hard to say because, like, okay, so you have like Democritus discovered the atom, right, or philosophized it before it was able to see it with tools. So did he actually see? Like, how did he know? Did the atom appear because we philosophized it first? And we had this container of what an atom would be, these bits. And then when we found it, we put that label on it. And so like we kind of co-created the idea of an atom itself. Or did he, or did he just get like really good guess or something like that? So like, how would you?
On our way to discovering the atom, we also discovered lots of things that would show us that our previous assumptions or our previous notions were incorrect.
Yeah. It's not like you have autonomy in the creation of these type of things like that you like whatever you put is for sure going to happen, but there is some feedback loop. So like like if we come from go ahead.
Things exist outside of our spectrum. That's known. I mean, we can't see certain light, we can't hear certain sound, but that doesn't mean they don't emit a pitch or reflect a light, I guess.
No, I believe that. I'm just saying, like, part of we are. I don't think that we're like that. Creation is like out there, and we're not involved in co-creating our own environment, and we have some kind of unknown territory of how we create our environment. So, for example, is time real? It's like maybe time is real. Like, what do you mean by real? Like, and time is a god. Chronos, right? So it's like human invention. It's a human invention, but also real to a certain extent.
Chronos is the projection of our understanding of time when we couldn't quite explain or track it.
Well, but when we couldn't see, so this is the thing this is where I think the part where I think I disagree with you the most. You said when we couldn't understand it. I don't think we understand time now. I think we have somewhat of a grasp, but I don't think we understand time fully. So I think the same way that they didn't understand time, as far as like they didn't have all knowledge about it, we still are in that situation. We're maybe progressed, but we're still not fully knowledgeable at all time.
Well, nobody talks about Chronos anymore, unless in reference to time.
And perhaps we lost some of the ideas that were useful in Chronos, that uh, that we could have a resurgence of,
Is
right?
Chronos, is that Zorro? Is that like pre-pagan? I can't, what is
I
Chronos?
think
Is that
I think it's
Greek?
Greek. Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
Greek.
All right.
And I think
Well,
that the Greeks did come up with a lot of things that were useful. So perhaps there are some aspects of Chronos that we should research.
I'll to see, well, at some point in time, I'm gonna guess probably around the fall of Rome, there was a major switch in a world's religious views, and I
Yeah.
mean, I think that happened before that, from Zoroaster to pagan, and that happened right probably around the time of Sodom and Gomorrah. And I think that if you look through history, when we have those great revelations, we switch world religions, because we establish our independence as humans, but then we kind of get lost, and then we're like, oh God, we need somebody to so we can think outside of ourselves at least.
Mm, yeah. So do you think? Okay, so it seems I feel I wanted to clarify this because it sounds like you're coming from a little bit of this perspective. Do you think that humans will eventually move away from religion entirely?
I mean, I believe that it will take a different play. It will take a different form. I believe that the tribalism that we crave for, and things like that, sports teams, country, political views, everything, the tribalism we crave will never get rid of. But that's an evolutionary thing. That will take thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of years to change our way of our reason for existing, if that's even possible.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So
It allows us to be fallible without consequence, or without guilt, because we can just say it's like, in my opinion, because I've talked to myself. I don't believe something until I can't talk myself out of it. So
mm,
that's why I like to have conversation with other people, because they can give me perspective. I'm not right. I just have things that I can't talk myself out of. Show me how to do that, and I'll do it.
yeah, I think that I give more validity to the imagined elements than I feel that you do to like if it's a if I'm making something up out of my head that there is no actual correlation with reality because like I feel like you interact with those type of things all the time and you act as though they are real. So for an example, if you don't live up to like your ideal self, like that feeling like oh I let myself down, that is that is you responding to a judge that is imaginary. It doesn't exist.
Hmm.
This ideal you does not exist, but people typically respond as though it does.
But somebody else, on the same token, won't be able to process that internally. They'll give it to a walk with God, or a test of faith, or just that's just, I'm a sinful human, and that's the way we do. And to me, that, I mean, that's just frustrating. The difference between mostly, I think, between your beliefs, well, I can't say that, between a Christian belief and my beliefs, is I take the credit for everything I do, and I give the credit to other people for everything they do. We have the same like idea and understanding of how to treat each other, and it comes from the same place. When it speaks logically, I just take the credit for it.
So, okay, so I want to see if you would take credit in this situation. So let's say you ended up becoming, when you say you take credit, like let's say you ended up becoming like a billionaire, right?
Mhm.
And you became a billionaire. Would you then take all of the credit for that?
It depends upon what I got became a billionaire for. Is it an idea nobody else ever had?
Yeah, but well, okay, so like let's say you did an idea that nobody else ever had, but then you would have to get distribution and all these other things to like, marketing and
Yeah.
everything like that. Would you say like I'm taking all credit for that?
Um. You can't. I mean, you can as an entertainer. Like if the example would be like if you're an entertainer and you rose to like own some sort of recording studio and then some record company, and then you became a billionaire like Jay-Z, for example. I mean, who spread out. I mean, like he owes to some degree his fans. You know, he owes to his popularity that comes from the people that are paying for it.
Yeah.
Right. But nobody was like, yo, Jay-Z, I'm going to teach you how to rap, and I'm going to teach you how to do this. I'm going to show you how to do that. Jay-Z went and did that shit. Dr. Dre went and did that shit.
Right. So you can give credit. You don't take all the credit for yourself. You give some credit to people around you, right?
Well, I give credit to people who to which the credit is due. I mean, just because I yeah, I mean, I think you know what I mean.
Yeah. And so, okay. Do you also give credit to those who have passed and paved the way before you?
Absolutely.
Okay. So so what would be wrong with the person who worships God as the abstraction of our ancestors?
Absolutely nothing.
So that's a perfectly acceptable idea of God?
Yeah, as long as you, I mean, where I say that your belief in God is inhumane is when you use God to justify shitty behavior. That's when you infringe on my right to be a human being, my human rights, then you're stepping out of your boundary. And I mean, that's just disrespectful. But ultimately, like, if you do it in the name of God, then yeah, that's incorrect. If you treat humans the way the humans should be treated, and you do that in the name of God, if it takes a belief in a deity for you to behave that way, better. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
So then I guess to me what you're saying is kind of like the correct view of God is a God that actually wants you to be accountable.
Yeah, 100%.
I
mean, not the correct view, but
why not?
Well, I mean, you can't hold yourself accountable. I hold myself accountable.
Yeah, I'm saying I think the correct view that everybody should have, which is something I agree with, is that God holds you and I accountable. Like that we can't push, we can't say Jesus.
That's your super ego projected.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. What's I guess
a projection. Like, I mean, that's so that the voice in your head isn't just the voice in your head, it's something out there. Then it's influencing me. Then I can, as a human who has an idea of a top down understanding of how things work, based completely on selective breeding, but because we have that view, it's easier for us to feel like we have somebody in our corner than to feel like we're completely alone.
Yeah. No. Well, yeah. I mean, it is the necessity to not feel alone, for sure, and that I don't think we'll ever get rid of.
So I understand why God exists, but I don't understand foregoing a life on Earth in preparation for an afterlife that, in my opinion, is not you. If your soul goes on anywhere else, which I fully believe that we all have our individual energy, it does not take your experiences with you. Your brain does not follow your soul to any other dimension, much less to be fully conscious in your own character in an afterlife. And if that's what you're relying on to get through life, then I would say take it upon yourself and do something, and understand that it's up to you. If you're struggling with things like that. But if you're not struggling, then go on with your beliefs. Like, who am I to tell you not to believe that?
Yeah. So I guess this reminds me of another thing that I have against some religious beliefs is the idea that this life is kind of like doesn't matter to a certain extent, and everything's for the next life. But
it's a pregame or some shit.
Yeah, it's a pregame, and that's not my view. But then I'm thinking, you don't have to have that view to be religious. You can have the view that this life matters. You could even have the view. I mean, reincarnation would be an example where this life does matter.
That was created to placate the lower class.
Yeah,
one day, if you work hard enough, you'll be rich when you come back again.
I don't know if it was I don't know if it's created to do that, but it definitely ended up doing that. I don't know if I can say that because at the basis it has the idea that time is cyclical, and you don't have to, like, you can get that straight from nature,
But
right?
yeah, but even putting a path on time like that is ridiculous. Time exists. Time is not. It is voluminous in our existence. Like, it's, how do you even gauge that? Because we can only see it as we move forward through it, or as we move on through it. There's no, because, like, I mean,
You don't believe
I
time
hear,
is cyclical?
I think that it exists around. I don't know if it's necessarily, I think the cyclical idea. What do you mean by cyclical?
Well, the sun goes up, sun goes down, sun goes up, sun goes down. We have winter, summer, fall, winter, summer, fall, spring, and it just keep going on and on and on. And then we keep
For,
going around and around the sun over and
that's
over
from our
again.
perspective. That's from our perspective. It is. If you
I
look
mean,
out,
and I'm saying that that's what we're limited to. So, like, so what you're
not
saying?
anymore.
What do you mean?
I mean, we have imaging of our solar system moving through the galaxy, therefore you moving through the universe, and it definitely doesn't look like the model that we were given as children. It looks like an atom.
Um, yeah, once you go out to there, because the theories are just so expansive, I don't know what I would say is the idea, because there's the double slit experiment, and
Well,
there's,
we've used math to project it, basically.
yeah. So
And
like, but like the idea of time, like, does us having the image of the galaxy actually, or the universe, give us this more concrete idea of time? I feel like it's caused more questions in that instance, because now people are like, is there me in another dimension, in some other like part, and like different layers and all shit like that. So like that doesn't help me understand time as much as it asks questions, kind of. But the
well, I
sun,
just
so the reason why I think the sun and us going around in the seasons is important, because that, like, if you're going to be connected to reality, or the thing that is true is being able to predict shit. So if I can predict, if I put this seed in the fucking ground and it's going to come up and it's going to create that's real. That's real to me. Like, and like those type of things, like to know that.
that's foresight. That's the survival instinct that grew into what we call an imagination, and in turn intelligence. Being able to look into the future and prepare for the future is something that not everybody has the ability to do. It's it takes a lot. It takes a lot of self-reflection. It takes a lot of understanding. At one point in time, we thought the sun went up and down, and we thought that, and then we found out we went around, and then we
Yeah.
thought we were a disk around the sun, and now we understand ourselves as moving laterally through the universe in a ball. Okay, and so, like, as we grow and learn, we have to consider that when we consider our life, because if we don't have to, I have to, because if not, then I'm living an ignorant life, and I can't stand that.
So like you actually made me think of this. So you said like the we have these images of the the universe and things like that, um and how we have this more enlightened scientific perspective and stuff like that. Another thing that kind of goes back to what I was saying before is like time, like how time is a god, right? And then so this, what like one of our most advanced, more concrete understandings of time is that it's tied to light. So basically the speed limit of the universe is light. So then time has overlap with light. And these are both concepts of what we have talked about as God. And it appears
Mhm.
even in our modern day. So it's like, is
I believe that.
so like, is light God? Light could be God.
I believe that in many instances that I've come across in my own personal idea of a dimensions or God, light has been a factor that I've run into many times. And in that sense, I come to the conclusion that it is light shining on something, and that is truth. So I've come, and I mean, I can explain this, it's more complicated than this, but if truth is light, or if light is truth and truth is good, then we've found what our highest, greatest, like what our most desired place would be, I guess. If I can't explain it the way I'm imagining it, but you know, like they call it, it's interchangeable in the Bible, light and God.
Yeah.
If it's in the light, then it is good. If it is in the dark, then it is bad. And you know, I view because I feel like I went through a personal level of enlightenment, which is just a transparency. I just cannot tell a lie. I can't misrepresent myself, and I cannot tell a lie, and therefore I can't do anything I would want to lie about. So I keep myself a fairly moral and virtuous person without direction of, just because I know I wouldn't want to treat anybody like that, or I wouldn't want anyone to treat me like that. So I'm not going to treat anybody else like that. That's like human morality. We don't need to know. Oh, yeah,
My girl,
go
she
walk
came
your
back.
dog. She's back your dog.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so you got to go. But I really appreciate. There's two things that go on. One, we either come to the same conclusion, or we start the same place and come to different conclusions from the videos I've seen in your on your TikTok. And I've wanted to talk to you in more long form, I guess, about some, you know, even more than just theology. I think that I have a lot of views on humanity, and I just want to know, like, where we split, like where is our misdirection, or not misdirection, but where,
Yeah,
you know,
separation.
that's something that I would be curious to explore.
Yeah, we'll do
because
the,
you're an intelligent person, so I'd like to talk to you more. And
sure, I appreciate that. Thank
I
you.
just I'm bad at I'm when I'm talking about something that I'm super in tune with, like it's hard for me to come back with like those debate level, you know, addressing the argument instead of what the idea, you know, that kind of stuff. I just I I can, but I get kind of defensive in those situations, and I lose the fact that like I need to banter. So I like I'm not great at debating because I feel like it's a lot of that instead of a lot of like, I don't know. It seems more combative than what I'm hoping to do. I just want to discuss ideas so I can
Yeah.
formulate my own.
Am I being overly combative with you?
No, absolutely not. No. I just meant there was some exchange that we had at some point where you no. Actually, what it is I went on that fucking Discord server, and like I just shared my opinion, turning it all out like witch trial, and I was just
Wait. You're the one I invited to the Discord server?
Yeah.
Oh man, dude, I did not put those two and two together, dude. I had no idea.
Yeah. I went on there and I was like, what is this? And somebody was like, maybe you want to go to this other server. And so I like went there and I like tried to join in on a conversation. They all like just, there's a reason why people like that think like I do get such bad reception, even though I don't insult anyone. I don't until I've had enough, but I'm not very, I just want to share and cultivate ideas because I spent a lot of time alone. Like I worked in Montana on a cattle ranch. I managed a cattle ranch for 6 years where I was by myself. I did it all by myself. And I came to a lot of conclusions from basically arguing myself out of things that I like boiled everything down. And then when I come back to society, I start picking up books like by Robert Greene, and I start like seeing ideas by like Jordan Peterson, and I start reading the Bible again. I start looking at all these different things, and a lot of them just overlap. Alan Watts, all of them just overlap with the things that I've come to conclusions with, and it's just like, okay, now I need to put these in a conversation because they seem a little bit too good to be true, in my opinion, from my view. But so that's the source of my I couldn't get your attention earlier, so I just started being provocative and just started like duetting you and shit, because like I know that'll get your attention. So but it's hard to find people that actually think about that and think about that have integrity, that are willing to do and say what they believe, even though everyone is staring at them.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so that's to me. I'm trying to a deep thing that people probably won't know. I'll say it when I find appropriate. But a part of my spiritual journey is I'm trying to make sure that I maintain honesty.
Truth, light.
Yeah. and so
what,
like that's why I do that. Like I'm making sure that I do test myself with the ability to say what's right even when it's uncomfortable. And I want to grow in that. And it is scary to do that on TikTok as you get like more and more people and stuff like that. But do try to make a practice standing my ground when I do have something that I really hold to. But I think she's waiting for me.
All
We'll
right,
do
man.
this again. We'll do this again. I'll send you another invite when I got some time again. But if we gotta go make I gotta go help make dinner because she's
Nice.
get hungry.
Yeah, do that, man. Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, exactly.
Later.